And so the final question that we're going to answer here is, does the Socratic method offer formative feedback? Some of my colleagues think that that's all that they need to do. Yes and no is the short answer to this question. The Socratic method is an awesome tool to quiz, to poke, to prod, to get the students to think about things. When classes are smaller, like around 18 people, it provides a more intimate opportunity to do something called Vicarious Learning. And this was something that was coined by Dean Michael Hunter Schwartz. I think he's Dean at Arkansas right now. And he wrote this awesome paper that really starts to talk about learning science and its place in legal education. So the idea of vicarious learning is that if I'm interacting, let's say I'm the professor and I'm interacting with a student, they're on call for today and I'm giving them quizzes, testing their knowledge and so on, then the students are actually envisioning that they're in that student's place. I ask a question, all of the students are supposed to be thinking about, how would I answer that? Even though that the one person who's on call, the one who's sweating bullets, is the one who answers it. So that's great. That's an awesome idea. But unfortunately, as I mentioned, it really, really works in the smaller classes. But now as we get to 40, as we get to 50, and some of these class sizes are getting a lot bigger, it's difficult, right? So if we're quizzing over here on this side of the room, and in the back corner over here, the students aren't paying attention. So it does have limitations to the extent that formative assessment is really for the people who are learning vicariously and sort of imagining mental repetition, as they say in sports, and the person being quizzed, right? So that's a formative assessment and feedback based on their current level of understanding. And the whole thing about the Socratic method is to get that student to the next level. Let's push them there. But it's really effective for that one student. It's kind of effective for the other ones. And for the students who are paying attention or not paying attention, it's a different story for them. One of the solutions and ideas that come back to this is this idea of peer grading and peer participation. We can put them into groups, give them a question to think about. We have some co-construction of knowledge, and then I can do a Socratic method on a couple groups. There's a little bit more investment. Students are actually engaged. So instead of me just typing away, the students are paying attention to their peer. They're not on their laptops gambling or on Facebook or anything like that. But I can still do some of that Socratic method by using them in pairs. And in some cases, it might take the tension off. I know some people do like the Socratic method for putting people on the spot and thinking about things, but in some instances, it can be very, very tense experience for them. And maybe early on, having them pair up is a good thing for that. I don't know. So the idea that it should be the only thing that they need to do, I think when you sit back and sort of think how I'm using it, you'll find that, especially in larger classes, that you're missing some of the student population. Some of the students aren't getting engaged. Maybe they're on call the first week and then it's 5 weeks later. What's happening in between that time? A lot of knowledge is being transmitted to and from, and if we want formative assessment to work, they need to be regular, and we need to be cognizant that the students are forming their knowledge and information along the way. And the Socratic method, unless the class is smaller, might not be doing that the way that we think it does.